Hello and welcome from Hanoi to the first of 3 email marketing webinars provided by Serv. My name is Oliver Wilke. I'm the VP Global Sales and Client Services for Serv. And today I have the pleasure of giving you some tips and tricks during these difficult Corona crisis times for your email campaign. Let's start with the agenda. So I'm going to talk very quickly about Serv. Then I would like to give you 10 email marketing tips and tricks. And at the end, we have reserved around 10 minutes for Q&A. The first questions are already in. And please use the Q&A feature on your Zoom application to ask me during the presentation. I've been working in the email marketing segment for more than 10 years. My personal experience has started with working for a so-called email service provider in 2010. Maybe you remember Email Vision Campaign Commander. After that, I switched in the same company to Smart Focus, using also email marketing, customer intelligence. And then I switched from the technology side to the advertising marketing side. And I worked for a big email marketing agency in Hamburg, Germany. And now I work for Serv. Obviously, we are very focused on email marketing. It's one of our core products. And therefore, we would like to give you some information on how you can optimize your campaigns today. Who and what is Serv? So we are focusing on online media channels, starting with email marketing. We also run other channels, paid channels like Google AdWords, display, social, and mobile. Serv was founded in 2008 in Berlin by Mr. David Picard, and right now we have already 6 offices worldwide, mainly in Asia and in Europe. Our database in regards to email marketing is huge, millions of email addresses spread over more than 23 countries, and that gives us the ability to target audiences worldwide, even with the specialization on different verticals like FMCG, real estate, hospitality, e-commerce, etc. Now here you can see a little page and where we are based. I am based in Hanoi and in Singapore from time to time. Our global headquarters is in Berlin. And yeah, in the meantime, we also opened offices in Amsterdam, Barcelona. Now, what about email marketing during these difficult times? Do you experience problems or is everything as before? Now, in any case, I will give you some hands-on tips and tricks. I will give you some strategic tips and something you might have not seen before. So let's start with a general topic, email communication during the pandemic. Not necessarily only during the pandemic right now, but also maybe for the future. You can use all those tips and tricks for all times of crisis and also for times where everything is good. Looking at the numbers first, obviously online behavior, online engagement in any case, and especially email marketing has risen in the last couple of weeks. In regards to email marketing, the email sign-up number has risen by 35%, which is huge in the last couple of weeks. We see heavy increases in different verticals, especially in the blogging and author vertical, everything online, but also online courses, education, and media. Also, all other verticals like travel, e-commerce, etc., have risen by far. Now, the question now is, how should you react to those crises? Do you need to send a COVID email? And what are the best practices if you want to address that issue right now? Now, please keep in mind that you don't need to jump on the bandwagon if you don't have a specific message to your clients. So what you have to send is, for example, updates and cancellations. You have to send to your clients how can they access your services, how can they benefit from your services, from your goods that you want to sell. And also give them updates about how to reach you in case you have a real store or something, and how to get in touch with you. Now, you don't need to write a very long email for that. Keep it short and crispy. Single topics, snipings, show your compassion about the current situation. You don't have to raise an urgency right now. So buy now doesn't really affect the end user currently. It's more about think now and what you really need. So please be very careful that your approach is not too sales driven. And don't push the boundaries. Obviously, sometimes it's good to think out of the box and maybe have a very heavy approach. But for now, I strongly suggest that you tune down your tone and you adapt to the current situation. Now, on the right side, you see a little example, and you see a little example about a typical email during the Corona crisis. It's very short and crispy. And also, there is a link to resources, how, for example, in this case, you can access your bank remotely, because we cannot go out right now and visit the bank. Now, also here we have more examples about very successful campaigns. I would like to address the CVS pharmacy, which is the third on the right, which actually gives a couple of call to actions. The email template looks very good. Obviously, they have some very groundbreaking features like plan a video visit to your pharmacy, which I think is very great. I think it's kind of virtual reality. And also how to get a flu shot for the normal flu or whatever. Also, as we know, currently everybody is training at home. So all those training resources are now being made available for remote usage. So no gym, no problem. What can I do? So it's very crispy. They don't even emphasize the fact that it's Corona right now, but you can access all the features. So find out your right message, adapt your message to your inventory and whatever you want to sell, and thus be very clearly in your approach to your email recipient. Now, for the last 10 years, I've been asked so many times, what is the best time to send emails? So obviously, this is not easy to answer. There are cultural differences. There are differences regarding, obviously, your target audiences. So the info I'm going to give you in the next couple of minutes is a very general info, but based on actual facts. Now, here you can see a couple of things, and I would like you to have a look at the graphic below. Let's start with the open rate. So during these times right now, it looks like the open rate is increasing a lot in the early morning, usually before people go to work, in this time probably before people start working at home. So from 5 a.m. until 2 p.m. are the best times for good open rate. Now we have to take a couple of things into consideration. Open rate is not everything. In email marketing, it's very important to have a high open rate, a high click-through rate, a high click-to open rate, and obviously also it's about conversion. So what I want to point out here is one very important thing. The number of emails that are currently sent have a peak at 8 a.m. in the morning. They're starting to peak at 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. That means most advertisers use this time slot to send out their emails. Now the question obviously is, should you jump on that bandwagon when the email inboxes are already full or not? This depends obviously on your vertical. This depends also on the campaign you're running. Now, it doesn't have a big effect obviously on the click-through rate and on the click-to-open rate. So you have to find your own niche. And I advise you to look at your competitors, subscribe at your competitors' email campaigns, look when they are sending, and then adjust your own sending times either based on your experience or on your competitors' behavior. Now, the best time to send a mail, as I said, around 10 o'clock in the morning, but everybody's sending at that time, so feel free to check that out. Now, important also is the best day for open rate. Now, what we can see here is most people like to read the emails on a Tuesday and Thursday. Now, that could mean that you should send on those days, but everybody has this information, so that also goes into the same thing. Do you want your campaign to be read along with everyone and might get lost in the mailbox? Or you go against the rules and send on lost popular days. Now, open rates, send outs, clicks are very nice to have. But in the end of the day, we're all looking for conversions, for sales, for leads, whatever is the call to action for you. So as I said, a good day to send is Tuesday, Thursday. People open probably on Friday. They convert on Saturday, means the email is in their inbox on Friday latest. In order for you to have a successful campaign, they will react to that email on Saturday. So it's 1%, 1.1% higher on Saturdays. Now, at the end of the day, you will have to check all the data that you have. You will have to A/B split test and find out your own best slot. Okay, how do we do that? How can we know if a campaign has good results? So obviously we have to look on data that you have in-house or that we have in-house. So you have to check, you have to test a little bit around. Send an email on day 1, check what happens. Send the same email maybe on day 3 on different times. You have to A/B split test all your campaigns and then see what happens. Look at the open rates, look at conversions, do separate emailings for different products and test and try, send dates, send times. Also, obviously, I will explain you later, you have to test subject lines, etc. So it's all about testing, getting results, analyzing, and then shooting again. Now, obviously, email open times and email open dates are very variable, but you can actually figure out the behavior of your recipients on social media. There are 2 very good tools I can recommend to you. One tool for Twitter. When are your Twitter followers active? So I assume that you have a Twitter page or Facebook fan page. So you can actually know when are they reacting, engaging with you on social media. And when they are active on social media, they're also tempted probably to open an email from you. So for Twitter, you can use follower wonk tool. And for Facebook, you can use the Sprout social tool. They look a little bit like that. Actually, here you get a very good overview about the engagement times and activity times of your clients. You can see in the pictures here. So I would recommend that you go cross over to different channels. You check what's happening on your different other accounts, on your different other channels, and then basically synchronize your email sending times to your activity times of your clients. Now here we have a couple of average open rates, click-through rates, etc. I don't want to go too much into the detail here. You will find probably your own vertical. At the end of the day, in CRM, retention mailing means you use your own data and you address your own clients and your own database. The open rate should not be below 17%, and usually they're not reaching more than 25%. But you will find your own vertical here, and you can see if you reach that goal already. Now, the third point, and actually this is something, as a user, we all know the problem. I'm getting too many emails. I'm getting too many emails from the same advertiser. So at one point, it's too much. I'm not reading anymore. Now, as an advertiser, we have the problem, are we sending enough emails to our clients? Because it's always in the back of our head that we are getting lost, that the client forgets us. So that makes us maybe send too much. So I would like to give you some advice here on what we think actually is a good ratio between sending and not sending. Now, obviously the risk is between undersending and oversending is that people might unsubscribe from your newsletter. They might also, if they're lazy, put you directly in the spam with one click, which is actually deadly for us. So what is the right balance between undersending, oversending, and perfect sending? Now, first of all, let's ask ourselves the question, why do users stop using or stop reading your emails? Or what do they do with their emails? So one thing is that they stop subscribing to your email campaign, that they receive too many emails. So if you receive one email every day, after day 5, and if the information is not relevant to me after day 5, I will not read anymore, which is good, which is better than putting you in the spam or putting unsubscribing. Now, it's very important that the messaging, the subject line is personalized and that they always reach the right time at the same time. Now, also one thing is, and I can tell that from my own experience, if I receive an email from an unknown sender, so the sender name or the sender address is not very clear to me, I might not remember that I ever subscribed to that newsletter program. So at this time then, especially when I have 100 mails in my inbox, in my private inbox, I might just put that person, sender into spam. Now, make sure that your sender's address is very clearly related to your brand, at least to your product, so that people understand who am I talking to, who sent me this email. Now, regarding open rates, so how can I manipulate if an open rate is achieved, or how can I get to a good open rate? At the end of the day, the name factor here is very important. So if I recognize the brand and if the subject line is appealing to me, I will probably open this email at a higher stake than an email from unknown sender. So very important to position your brand on first sight, and first sight means sender's name and subject line. Now, for unsubscriptions, obviously, I'm unsubscribing if I get an irrelevant information or too many emails. So all those things together, please keep in mind, if you see your opening rate going down, your engagement rate going down, please, the first thing is just check your brand name, check your subject line, and check your first approach. Now, here we have a couple of open rates for emails sent per week. Those stats were delivered by GetResponse. And you can see here open rates, click-through rates, and click-to-open rates based on the amount of percentage of messages I sent. Now, about the frequency, for years, email service providers have taught us that customization of your email program is very important. So obviously you want to give the user the option to decide himself, do I want an email every day? Do I want an email every week, every month? Or do I want just specific emails? And how do I make sure that this is realistic? So at the sign up process, you can already give the user the chance to choose the frequency of the emailing. So before he actually gives the opt-in, before he sends subscribe, you tell him, you ask him first how many mails you want to receive. You can even go further. You can even go further and tell him what kind of products are you interested in. Now, given the fact that you might have already a database of 10 to 1 million people, and you have not asked for this information before, now is a perfect time to reapproach your whole database and to get that information afterwards. So a perfect mail to clean up your database, to also see who is engaging or not, who is active or not. Send an email to everybody. Tell them about your new email program, your new email approach. Tell them that you want to personalize and customize your mailings and direct them to your landing page or to your website, and give them the options that you can see here in this little snippet. Give them the option to get better targeted emails. Now, how do you make people choose to do those extra steps? Maybe you can give a freebie or gift. Maybe you can give some kind of incentive. At the end of the day, the more segmented your database is, the more you know about your clients, the better and the more relevant emails you can send in the end of the day. And your open rates will go up, your clicks go up, and your conversions too. Now, obviously, A/B split testing is very important. Now, what is A/B split testing? It's definitely sending the same kind of creatives, the same kind of campaign to maybe different segment groups. Maybe you want to check male versus female. Maybe you want to check Germany versus Austria. Maybe you want to check different age groups. So feel free to split up your database, segment them by yourself, and then send one same email to different user groups. Yeah. Now, obviously, I subscribe to hundreds of newsletters, and one thing which I think is very important, besides obviously the double opt-in, is the welcome email. So why is that? The welcome email is your first approach to a new subscriber. So what happens is that at the same time when I've subscribed to a newsletter program, within 2 minutes, I should receive a welcome mail. Now, the open rates for welcome mails are over 50%. Obviously, the user is already on his computer. Your brand name and the fact that you subscribe to your newsletter is very fresh in his mind. So it's the perfect time to reach out to him. You will never receive that, you never get that open rate again. So it's a perfect time to reach out to him. The perfect time also to find out more about him and maybe to direct him to a landing page where he can add his preferences. And especially people, they expect a direct feedback from you. So please keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, 33% of users who receive a welcome mail will engage with your brand. Now, Airbnb does it perfectly. Actually, they already give you in the welcome mail a couple of preferences. So are you looking for a home, or are you a host, or are you just interested in travel? So you can already here check out what you want, and you will only get the information that you're really interested in. Now, Casper, which offers mattresses and blankets and beds, they have a very nice approach here for the welcome mail. It's the right colors, the right images, right background, and also the right messaging. So obviously, it's all about sleeping and sleep, and they also use the right terms. So it's very cleverly done. The open rates here and the engagement is high, and the CTA also implies actions. I will talk about CTAs a little bit later on. Okay, very basically, I think everyone should know, but I would just like to repeat that about the design for your newsletter, maybe even for the welcome letter. So contrasting colors, obviously very important. If I keep everything in black and white, nobody will find anything, and especially nobody will find the call to action button. The call to action button is the most important thing in your newsletter besides the message, but the call to action button ensures that you get a kind of a measurable engagement with the recipient. What happens if I click on the call to action button? I increase my website traffic as well, because everything goes from email to the website. That also means that you should not disclose all information in your newsletter. You should just give a highlight, a teaser. Usually you maybe add a picture or a couple of lines information, but not the whole information, because what we want to do, we want to see if the client engages with us more than only opens the email. So if he clicks on the call to action button, I can basically see that in my system. On the same side, I can also see that there is one more visit to my website, so I can get a holistic approach of my email campaign. Now, in order to make the call to action more stand out, there's obviously the chance to make it interactive. When I hover over this button, that the button increases in size or changes the color. And it's very important also to leave a little bit of space around the CTA so that everyone can see it. Now, in order to make also, to add additional cues means, okay, where is the button? Usually people use an arrow and here's the call to action button. Now, in the example on the left side, you have a person looking at the button. The picture of this woman is not looking at me, it's looking at the button. So obviously, as you're reading from left to right, also the psychology of your brain directs you from the left side to the right side, and you will find the button for sure. And obviously, the button has to be big. I recommend you not only to use your own judgment via the eyes to see if your template is good or not. There is technology on the market that basically can measure the performance of the design of your email template, and can see where are the hotspots in your template, which has to be adjusted or not. Images. It's always very funny to receive one email with one image, especially when I have my pictures suppressed, because I see nothing. When there's no alternative text in the mail, I have to first activate my pictures. Maybe I don't want to, and then everything pops up. Now, obviously, there are alternatives for that. Now, first of all, for a good deliverability, the ratio of pictures and text has to be 50-50. It should not be only text, it should not be only pictures, but a healthy ratio. Now, per default, in most inboxes, the pictures are suppressed, so I don't see them. So what I have to do is probably use an alternative text. So I can put the text on top of the picture. The text describes what the picture shows. So if somebody doesn't want to see the picture, if somebody is not willing to open up his picture settings, then the text is being displayed and I can see actually what's behind it. Now, what else can happen? Too many pictures means too much loading phase, means people are losing interest. People will not wait for 20 seconds until your email is completely displayed. They want a quick overview. 5 seconds, 10 seconds is the attention span. So the longer the email loads, the less chance I have of getting a click at a later stage. Now, the example on the right side actually is, on the top, you see the email with pictures activated. On the bottom, you see the email, how it ended up in my inbox. Now, there is no alternative text and no background picture, so I see nothing. Do I want to take the risk and click on show pictures? Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's make sure that something is displayed and just put the alternative text on top of it. Okay, so as I said, a good alternative would be to use a background picture like you can see on the right side from National Geographic and put text in front of it. Now, obviously, one thing we might forget from time to time, that buttons are also pictures. So if I suppress my pictures, I don't even see the call to action button. What can we do against it? Just exchange your button from GIF, PNG, or JPEG and create the button via HTML or CSS. So as soon as you have created those buttons, they will be displayed automatically in your email client, so they are bulletproof. Now, the most important thing to measure for the success of a campaign besides open rate is definitely the next action. Therefore, we include call to action buttons in our mailings. Call to action means, okay, what actually do I want my end user to do? I want him to click, I want him to open, I want him to do some kind of actions. Now, what is the psychology of your email? And how does the call to action button fit into that process? Now, obviously, first, with an email, we want to raise attention. When I open a good email, I read a story. So my attention, and if it's well targeted, I'm very interested in finding out more. So the attention span goes up and up and up. When the attention span has reached its climax, it's a time to stop disclosing the information, adding the call to action button, and, for example, write something like find out more with a call to action button that directs to the website. As I said before, we don't want to give all information in the email. We want people to visit our website to get a bigger picture of what we're actually doing and also to measure what happens. So the climax is the call to action button. With a click on the call to action button, the conversion happens automatically. So please keep that in mind. You have to know how your story plays out at the end of the day. Don't show everything, just finish at one point and let people read the rest on your website. Now, obviously, we have different kinds of newsletters. Sometimes it's only one message with one call to action. Sometimes we have different call to action for different products. I would suggest you that the most important is that you keep it clean. Different call to actions are also placed under the message or besides to the message. In Western cultures, we read from left to right and from the top to the bottom. That means the call to action button has to be on the right side or at the bottom of your page, or on the bottom of your message. Point number 7, scarcity marketing. Now, I give you my personal opinion on that. Be careful, and be careful what you tell your clients. And if you want to scare them or create an urgency to a certain extent, try to find a good reason why they should buy the product, and not only scare them or create the urgency per se. That means scarcity marketing is basically showing the people that a product is not on the market anymore for much longer. So it's a very aggressive call to action. You are creating an urgency: buy now or it's gone. Get the best deal or it's gone. 100 people have looked at this product. We have only 50 products in store, so you have to act now. This already works very well in travel hospitality. This also works very well, for example, in e-commerce, where products are being sold that are on stock. Now, also, this gives you the chance to interact with the audience in a new way. So at the end of the day, you can get rid of all things that are in your store. You can actually give a good discount and tell people, okay, we have only 50 products in store to a certain price. Now, there are different ways how to create that kind of urgency. You can use scarcity marketing with numbers. Means you show a percentage of the products that are left in stock. So obviously it runs down and down. It might be realistic or not. It might be real or not. At the end of the day, at one point you're giving the reason that we're almost sold out. So the call to action is not, of course, get your product now. Now, the second thing is about exclusivity. So you can add some products into your existing box or into your existing portfolio and tell them that those are exclusive products that are about to run out or about to be sold. Now, this is obviously an act of driving urgency very quickly, and it works very well. Now, for people who don't want to basically calculate about discounts and rebates, it's always good to have something for free, but be sure that the free items that you offer show a little bit of value, that it doesn't look like you're giving everything out for free. And so you have to show the value, maybe the former price or something, in order to advertise that product. Now, number 8 is the so-called AIDA model. So the AIDA model is the customer journey of your end client. So we're starting with the A, which is the attention. Obviously, first of all, when am I motivated to open an email? I am motivated to open an email if the subject line is really interesting for me. So I would not open an email for shampoo or for ladies' clothes. So obviously I have to get something that is very close to my preferences. And with the attention line, you're getting with the subject line, you're getting the attention of your clients. Now, okay, they're opening the email. So you have their attention. They're about to read what you want to advertise. Now, how do I get their interest, and how do I keep them reading in that email? Obviously, it's about storytelling. So you have to introduce the story of the product, the story of your message in general, the story of your company. Get them engaged, not too long. Just don't forget, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. Don't forget, hundreds of emails in the inboxes. So catch phrase, get them quickly. Now, okay, the user is still interested. Now it's the time to raise the desire. Explain the product, especially right now in the Corona crisis. If you have a product that is health related or that is very close to the current situation, explain the benefits for this product, maybe even why they should use it, and go into detail. And then bring them to the action. Carry them on from their desire to the action, and the action is being fulfilled in the call to action button. So at the end of the day, it has to be very easy from the desire, from the feeling of desire to the feeling of buying something or converting. Now, here we have a template for you, actually, or at least a script for your emailing. So let me tell you that it's very important to personalize your messages. So on the left side, you see a very short script, and everything in green has to be personalized. Obviously, and the first name too. Obviously, name personalization should be given anyway. But then also, if you have the data about who is this person, how old is this person, what's his position, what's his job, how much money does he have, what's he interested in, etc. You need to personalize your emailing in regards to that. And then at the end of the day, if you look to the right side here, you see a highly personalized approach with that respects also the AIDA points: attention with the subject line, interest, related introduction, desire, what do you want, and the action point at the end of the day to convert. Now, another strategy is the BAB formula. It's before, after, and the bridge. It's a little bit shorter. The approach is shorter. Basically, I'm explaining, here's what you do. Here's where you are. I know what you're doing. I know your problem. And I can make you feel after. I can make you feel better. I can make your life better. Our products can help you with A, B, C, D, F. Okay, I'm interested. But how do I get there? Last point is the other B, the bridge. How to get there. So in this case, actually, you address the problem. You show also that you are aware of the problem of your end users, aware of the needs of your end users, and you already give them the result and the possibility how to go there. So if you like storytelling, if you like to give your customers a good informative newsletter, tell a story. Tell a story and address them personally. And at the end of the day, I have added some to-dos and to-don'ts, especially during this crisis. So also regarding Corona, if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything. I mean, it's very dangerous to jump on the bandwagon in these times if you don't have anything to add to solve the problem. So in this case, I would actually say don't write anything. Provide enough information, alternatives. So if people cannot leave their homes, it doesn't make sense to advertise something that is unreachable for them. At the end of the day, offer them what the solution for their problem. Adjust your language. So always keep in mind that some words or some messages are not applicable right now. And always direct people to your website, to your landing page, to microsite. Direct them somewhere in order to have an additional benefit from your email campaign. Okay, the don'ts. So as I said, don't use COVID-19 as a pretext to communicate. There's enough emails right now in the market for that. Segmentation, never send emails to your entire contact base. If I have 1 million recipients in my email database, it's deadly to address them all with the same email. During Corona, before and after, segment your database. Segment at least for age, gender, geo, and interest. No man wants to receive a mail that is addressed to women, and vice versa. So keep that in mind for the future as well. You have to basically invest a bit of time to find that out. Also segment between active users and inactive users, etc. Don't write anxiety-provoking communication. I think we all know that right now. We don't have to make more panic than already. And don't take the challenges lightly. Of course, tone of voice, yes. We have to address people in a serious way right now. No time to make too many jokes, maybe later on, but not for now. On the right side, you see a couple of examples how we feel a good email template should look like. And this is it for now. Q&A. So first, please let me tell you that this is not the only email marketing workshop. This was a general workshop, a general webinar to address during the Corona crisis. The next two webinars will be more sophisticated, more deep. We go into acquisition email marketing, how to generate sales with EDM. And the second webinar will be all about CRM/retention/loyalty email marketing. So, and then I will address more technical topics as well. Now, a couple of questions that I see here. Okay, no sound at the beginning. Okay, I think that's good. That's solved. Okay, a question. When we talk about the perfect timing for sending emails, are there differences between cultures? To which country does data refer mention in the presentation? Of course, different cultures, different people, different behavior, yes. At the end of the day, the numbers that I showed you are global numbers. So in different geos. I would assume that the wake up time, the working time is more or less the same in every country. However, some countries might have different days where they're off. So in some countries, you don't work on a Saturday, don't work on a Sunday. So obviously that's very global. As I said, you will have to find out for yourself how your database reacts, and you know better than me about your own database, what geo you're in and what geo responds to at what time. Are you referring, a second question is, are you referring here to unique open rates or only open rates? In this case here, when we took the benchmarks, obviously those are unique open rates for CRM for your own database. But to be honest, between 70 and 25% unique probably, will be actually 5 to 10% higher in complete open rates. Okay. What do you think about multi-level email sendouts? I think at the end of the day, this is could be a very good tactic. Obviously, here there are some verticals where it doesn't apply. So multi-level templates work good in e-commerce, work good in, let's say, fast-moving consumer goods. Yes, I completely agree to that. You said there are websites that check the template. Can you please share one? Right now, I've not, but I will, in the follow-up mailing, we will give you, we will provide you with this presentation, and I will add a link where you can check your websites proactively. Okay, how do you see the development between email, YouTube, and other channels? Okay, so YouTube is not a part of a channel. So YouTube is video marketing, video advertising. Obviously, we have other channels like PPC, display, social, mobile, native. So the development, I mean, to be honest, regarding to email, it's still there. So the development for email is steady. 10 years ago, even when I started with email marketing, everybody said email marketing is dead, which is not the case, because at the end of the day, it's still probably the most reliable channel that you have. So it's not going away, it's getting better. There are more possibilities right now to end up in the inbox, to target your audience, etc. Now, between other channels, the development, digital marketing is going up. There is right now no downturn in any channel. I think a better question is, how can email marketing and other channels live together? So from my point of view, for example, email and display can work very well together, because you direct somebody to a website, he enters the website, his cookie is being collected, and you can push him with either push notifications or with display. So from my point of view, I always try to combine email marketing with other channels, especially with PPC and display, in order to get a better approach and a better result. Okay, is clickbait a good thing to do in email marketing? I don't want to address that topic right now. Obviously, clickbait, the name itself is already negatively affected, so clickbait might not, if you talk about clickbait, I would always say no. If you talk about maybe some catchphrases that make people open an email, fair enough. I mean, there's always a balance between that, but you should never advertise something that you cannot fulfill. So if I say, okay, subject line, here you have won a Porsche Carrera, and at the end of the day, I have to play a game for that. Sorry, no, it's not okay. I don't think it's okay. You should always stand up to what you advertise. So in this case, obviously, no. Okay. And this is all the questions for now. Yes. This all the questions for now. And we are following up with the presentation. You will get it personally in your inbox. We are going to make the video available. And for next week, I'm very happy to explain everything in detail about acquisition email marketing, how to generate more sales with email marketing. And I hope to see you in 1 week, same time, same place. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a good day.